I've been sitting here thinking about what Modern Warfare should do after the ending of Modern Warfare 4. Now, for a long time, we've talked about how we might think that potentially Modern Warfare 4 is going to be the ending of the Modern Warfare series for a while. And one specific question that I had is what should they do with some of the characters that they've introduced in this new rebooted franchise? I really don't want any more Modern Warfare games, and I really don't want any more Black Ops games for a long time, for a good 6 to 10 years. If I'm being like frank with you, I don't want to see another rebooted version of Modern Warfare where we kind of go over the same stuff with new actors in the role. I don't want to see them tackle more Black Ops when we're all the way to like Black Ops 10 or 12. So maybe without letting fully go of that world, because it just feels to me that Activision is so scared to move on. It seems to me like they're just fearful of what may happen if they go again into a new direction with brand new sub franchises like they did with Ghost and Advanced Warfare and Infinite Warfare. I just feel like they're scared. And the times that they have stepped out to do something new, it kind of has backfired a little bit. Look at Call of Duty Vanguard. It was just bad in general. So they have a big track record of failures when it comes to not Modern Warfare and Black Ops. But now that Modern Warfare and Black Ops have both kind of been panned by a lot of the fans and a lot of the critics, and then just kind of being terrible experiences overall, especially when it comes to the campaign, there might be something more that you can do. There might be a new direction that you can go that's different but familiar. And so the Shadow Company is one of those things that kind of come to mind when we talk about where do Call of Duty go after Modern Warfare 4. Why not do something with the Shadow Company? Why not follow a story of doing a potential Shadow Company video game or a potential Commander Graves story, or do something different that kind of centers around one specific character or centers around one specific faction and follow the story from there? Call of Duty has done a lot of dumb shit over the years, but one thing that they've done very well, in my opinion, is the casting of some of these characters. Now, some would argue that the casting doesn't really matter because if they fail at making the characters intriguing, then who gives a fuck about the casting because they sucked in their role. I mean, we could look at Makarov. He, in my opinion, was casted very well. I like the actor. I like the look of it. He has a menacing look, and if you look at some of his other work, he's very vicious, and he showed glimpses of being a very good villain and a very good actor in his role of Makarov. However, the writing, the pacing, the story itself let him down and didn't allow him to really act his ass off. It really didn't allow him to show what he has. Another character like this is Barry Sloan. He's a great character actor. He's an actor, like a very good actor. And you saw glimpses of, not even glimpses, you saw how good he could be in Modern Warfare 19 or 2. But in Modern Warfare 3, he just felt let down by the dialogue, by the writing. And so they have casted very well with Price, with Soap, with Ghost, with Commander Graves, with Alejandro Vargas, with Valeria Garza, with Rudy. Like, they have gotten a lot of good actors in this role, at least actors that can act. It feels like they can act very well. So are you just going to throw them all away and forget about them after Modern Warfare 4? That's one of those questions that I ask, especially with Modern Warfare 2. You brought in Los Vaqueros, you had this whole side thing about Sicarios and Mexico, and you introduced very interesting characters that more could have been done with. You could have explored the Mexican Special Force unit, Los Vaqueros. You could have explored Alejandro Vargas' story and his family, you know, that family that he keeps hidden that nobody really knows where they are to protect them. Why not explore that a little bit more? Why not explore the hideout that Commander Graves was in? Why not explore the life of Commander Graves a little bit more and why he did certain things? Maybe there's justification for it. Why not explore the conflict that's growing, or the conflict that grew between Los Vaqueros and the Shadow Company? That personal conflict between Commander Graves and Alejandro Vargas. What I'm saying is that you can continue some of these stories in a different way. You can go down many different roads. It doesn't have to be necessarily Modern Warfare is concentrating on Captain Price and Task Force 141 and Makarov and all that stuff. It doesn't have to be that. It could be Modern Warfare takes an approach of doing something brand new. Now we have all of these other characters that cannot get the spotlight that maybe they deserve. You can't go too deep into them because you're concentrated so much on Task Force 141 and Price and his team and his goals and his emotions, with Ghost being there and Soap and everybody. You can't really in a 6-hour game or 5-hour game, when you talk about the campaign of Call of Duty, you can't really dive deep into everybody that's around them or go into different stories because you can really only concentrate on the main group. So if you get rid of the main group and you have someone else be the main group, for example, the Shadow Company, then you can really concentrate on them and new characters and a new conflict in a new area, in a new style of warfare. And it would still feel familiar. You could even name drop certain people in cutscenes. Like Graves could say, when I was dealing with 141 or something like that, and people would like that because it's familiar. They would be like, oh yeah. So it wouldn't necessarily be a completely different game and a completely world outside of Modern Warfare, but it would be a continuation, an attachment, like a side story of that. Now, some people would always say to me in the comments, well, you know what? This would be a great DLC. Look, it's almost a waste of time to speak about DLC for Call of Duty in particular in 2026. Like, they're not gonna do DLC. They just will never do DLC again like that. I mean, they have Warzone to continue selling shit. They're not gonna do DLC. So any DLC story expansion for any Call of Duty, as sad as it is, just probably more than likely will not fucking happen. So they would have to 100% tell a different studio, hey, take this faction, concentrate on that, and expand that more. Some people would say, well, can Shadow Company really carry its own video game? I think you could, like we've talked about here in the channel. You could do something like maybe a PMC type of game where you go into the private sector and follow a story there that kind of unravels. You could focus it on Shadow Company, you could focus it on Graves because they are already there. Really, this particular topic and video was mostly attributed to Shadow Company because those were the ones that I really wanted to concentrate on. But if you grab Los Vaqueros, you could do something there too. Now, I know that it could be very, very difficult to say, well, or do we really want a video game solely concentrated on Los Vaqueros or solely concentrated on Shadow Company? Like, is that really what we want? Can they really carry the game again? Modern Warfare has become the story of Task Force 141 and the Special Air Service, really, with a little bit of help from FARA and a little bit of intervention from the CIA. But it's the story of the Special Air Service concentrated on 4 guys on a task force. So why not tell the story of a U.S. private military corporation or private military company named the Shadows, concentrated on the whole unit with their leader being Graves? Or why not concentrate on a story about a special force unit in Mexico that's fighting crime and they follow a conspiracy, and the group is Los Vaqueros with more than 4 guys, and at the helm is Colonel Alejandro Vargas, with his right-hand man, Rudy, by his side. Why not do that? You can go into these worlds, you can explore them more, you can expand them a bit more, and you can get so much more out of it. You don't have to do away and throw away everything that you've built over the last few years with Call of Duty Modern Warfare, because a reset, a reboot would just fucking ruin it even more. Don't do that. We don't want that. Expand the world more. Get away from that. And then maybe if you take your time and if you're patient and you deliver good campaigns again, you could kind of bring it all around. You could do something with the Shadow Company, you could do something with Los Vaqueros, and then a few years later, you can kind of bring them all together for this big fucking game together where you have 141 return and you have Shadows and Los Vaqueros, and it's a conflict that brings them all together. Sounds like the fucking Avengers, getting together again. But you know what I mean? Like, you could build out the world more. You just have to be more careful in how you craft the world. I just feel like it has been so careless with Call of Duty when it comes to the campaigns, when it comes to Modern Warfare, that it just ruins it. And another thing is, and this is a very quick side note, sidebar, having everything trying to connect to Warzone and Black Ops and all the other games is bullshit. It makes it so hard to be creative and really open up. So if anything, you should only have the Modern Warfare rebooted world in its own fucking universe, in its own little circle. That way, the stories you can tell can always kind of circle back to each other and make sense. There's so much that you could do if you could just concentrate on something different. So does Modern Warfare 4 have to be the end of the Modern Warfare series as we've come to know it? No, it doesn't have to be, because there's still so much potential in it. It's still so unexplored. So many good characters, so many good factions, so many good actors attached to those characters that you can still rebuild something that seemingly was lost with MW3, and to so many other fans, seemingly was lost after MW 2019. You could write dark, gritty, grounded stories again that make fucking sense with the dialogue, and bring these character actors that you already casted that are very, very good actors and have them improve their roles and make them their own. You just have to dive into it a little bit harder. So once again, Modern Warfare 4 doesn't have to be the end. What can come next? What can come after? What can you do? Do something with the Shadow Company. Do something with Los Vaqueros. Do something with both of them. Or do something in the world of Modern Warfare that doesn't necessarily have to be Modern Warfare Task Force 141.